Welcome to Briz Productions.
Hey guys, welcome back to another exciting episode here on Briz Productions. Thank you guys so much for tuning into our last video with Damien Slater. But guys, today I got another exciting wrestler all the way from Melbourne, head trainer of MCW, and also, as you guys can see, part of the Bullet Club itself. Welcome, Gino Gambino.
I did it. Did it work? Yay! It's me. I made it. Thanks for having me.
No worries, mate. Good to hear from a legend himself.
Thank you so much for having me on.
How's Melbourne going for your main isolation, all right?
Very cold today, but isolation hasn't been too bad. I've been very busy with New Japan stuff, so it's been great.
Oh,
just
really?
Camera that look nice here. Here we go. How's that? Look at that. That's better.
Yeah, there we go. Can't wait for New Japan stuff coming up very soon. Hopefully everything goes all right.
Yeah, look, it's on its way. I mean, the world's all sort of paused at the moment, which, you know, is unfortunate, but we'll definitely get up there.
That's true. Anyway, mate, we got Gino Gambino, lifelong wrestling, as we all know, lifelong wrestling fan, wrestler himself, and also part of the New Japan Pro Wrestling organization itself. But, mate, before we get to any of that, first of all, which one to ask? Where did the whole wrestling career for you begin, if I could ask?
Yeah, look, obviously, when I was a bit younger, so when I was probably about 10 years old, wrestling was quite popular on television, on just network television. Channel 10 used to play it late at night. So all me and my friends used to get together and watch it and just was hooked automatically. And then I ended up at my first local show. My dad used to host a radio show here in Melbourne, and he had the local wrestlers come in to promote their show and got me a ticket. And then I discovered wrestling in Australia, which was massive. I didn't even know it existed. And then I was hooked from then on. Like I was watching guys like Stone Cold and The Rock every sort of Tuesday night. And then, you know, got to see other guys perform live, which was really cool.
That's amazing. So you grew up in the, if I could say, the Attitude Era, or did you grow up in like WWF era?
Nah, definitely the Attitude Era. I get a bit of flack from friends of mine who are like, "Oh, you don't know about this." You know, I'm not probably the best historian when it comes to pro wrestling, but I definitely enjoyed the Attitude Era a lot.
Same here. Like the old days, those hardcore matches. That's what we
absolutely
all came to see.
Yeah, for sure. It was a big thing.
Yeah, it's crazy to think of how wrestling has evolved from those early days up to now. It's amazing. Worldwide, people are now watching.
It's absolutely, it's awesome to see how much it's grown.
That's amazing. And so, who do you think was the biggest role model for you in the wrestling industry growing up?
Look, I don't know, maybe role model is a strong word, but look, probably my three favorites were definitely The Rock, Triple H,
And Triple H taking advantage. Pedigree time for sure.
and Stone Cold. I've never met Stone Cold. That's my goal. I got to meet Triple H a couple of times, which has been pretty good. But
nice.
Both as a fan and professionally. But look, the opportunity to meet Stone Cold, I think I'd still be a fanboy if that happened. But yeah, that were the three that were major players when I was watching wrestling as a kid. They were the top guys, and then I had guys like Jericho, and I've been lucky enough to work alongside Jericho. A couple of people may have seen him, and I donated some money for bushfire relief at the start of the year.
That's right, yes.
To have that professional sort of relationship with him, it blows my mind sometimes. Sometimes, you know, you don't realise how far you've come as a fan to a professional to, you know, to a wrestler. So, but yeah, definitely I think Stone Cold was the major one.
If y'all here in Dallas ready for Monday Night Raw, give me a hell yeah.
Exactly. We all did it. It was great. It was really awesome. And he was probably the pinnacle of wrestling for anyone my age.
Yeah, until we all got told off by the school teachers for putting that finger up.
Exactly. He inspired a generation.
Exactly. But mate, you are a, besides a wrestler, but you're also a wrestling trainer with MCW, your main home, if I could say. If anybody wanted to become a wrestler, what are the three things that you look for in a person to becoming a wrestler?
Well, it's funny. So I help out at the school a little bit. The main trainers down there are Dowie James and Jay Andrews at the moment. But yes. I've been part of a few, I guess you'd call them tryouts to be part of the school. I think what you're looking for, even when it comes to places like the New Japan Dojo and the Fale Dojo in New Zealand, it's important to have tenacity. It's important to have resilience. Even if you can't do something, we need to see that you can try. So a good example, a story I was always told from the underboss, he told me that when he tried out for New Japan, they asked him to do 100 push-ups, which at the time he couldn't do. But it took him 15 minutes, but he still did them. And that's why they said, yep, we want him. Because it's not about, can you do 100 push-ups? It's do 200 if you can do 100. It's really pushing your boundaries and being a better person, I guess is probably the best way to put it. So testing yourself is really important.
That's amazing. Good. It's a good way. If you guys don't understand of becoming a wrestler, you go to one of these guys that will help you out. But it's all about the commitment. It's all about the challenges that you put yourself into. So which is why,
you couldn't be more spot on. Yeah, really, it's really important to have those characteristics.
Yeah, but mate, I just want to get to the main thing. Bullet Club.
Bullet Club. For life.
The main itself,
Yes.
2017, being initiated into the Bullet Club Down Under by Tox himself. How did that feel, mate? In front of a huge crowd in Melbourne.
I had no idea what was going to happen that night. Farley and I have had a long relationship as friends, and we'd always joked about it, and I've always tried to get myself involved somehow. And yeah, when he mentioned it, it was funny. I was standing in the ring, and he grabbed the mic. He goes, "I've got something to say." I thought, shit, are we going to end up in a fight here? Did I do something wrong? And then when he passed me the T-shirt, I was really overcome, and the whole crowd got up and roared, and I think it really started the influx of Australians working with Japan. So we've seen guys like Robbie Eagles, and we've seen guys like Ospreay, and we've seen Okada, we've seen Naito come to Australia, we've seen New Japan all together come. So It really was the start of the journey.
I can imagine, because I was actually there when New Japan Pro Wrestling first came to Australia 2 years ago. I was there, front row seat, met the guys themselves. I couldn't believe it. After all this time, because I actually heard the story that you and Tox actually were joking around having a coffee one time about bringing Japan to Australia, and
that's how it all sort of started. We actually caught up for a coffee here at a local shopping centre. It's funny, I still remember the phone call. I hadn't spoken to Farley properly in a few sorry for swearing, for a few weeks, and he called me in. I was like an unknown number, and he's like, "Oh, do you want to have a coffee?" I'm like, "Who is this?" He's like, "Oh, it's Farley." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah." I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So I ended up catching up with a coffee, and he's like, "Oh, do you think we can bring New Japan to Australia?" And it seemed like such a wild idea at the time. And first we ended up running with the tryout here. And then after that, I'm like, look, I think there's enough to sort of warrant, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, there was enough fans here that wanted it. And that was really important. Like, we put out a couple of tease posts on Facebook and social media around everything. That's why it's so important. When fans want something, they really have to express it, because everyone definitely sees it. So once we knew the fans were there, we were just like, yeah, let's do it. And we organised it with a third party. And yeah, all of a sudden we were wrestling in Festival Hall. We wrestled at the Sydney Olympic building in Sydney. Like, it was massive. There was a lot going on. So a really worthwhile venture with Farley and I.
That's amazing. But Japan didn't probably think of that as well. First tour down under, how's it going to be? Boom. Huge crowd that drew. That's amazing.
Yeah. Look, it opened up the floodgates for everyone. They were unsure. Sometimes, sometimes you think, geez, is this going to work? Because there's a lot of costs involved. Like,
exactly.
I mean, getting visas alone is thousands upon thousands of dollars. So, like, everyone thinks that there's money to be made. There's nothing to be made, I can be honest. It was more about giving the fans something they wanted.
Could I be honest with you? The only thing I found out when you guys came to Adelaide, they were making heaps of money were the damn T-shirts and merchandise.
Yeah, T-shirts. Merchandise will always sell. No matter what, merchandise will always sell. But even then, you got to think, there's printing costs, there's costs of renting you got to pay people who sell the T-shirts. I wish it was $1 million venture, because if it was, we'd do it every year. But it takes a lot of work and a lot of time. We had a lot of help from a lot of different people.
That's exactly. It's funny though, because I remember back in the early days of New Japan all started, people never heard of it, thinking, New Japan, what's that? And then, of course, it was run by the legend himself, Antonio Inoki, the guy who still runs it, I believe so. If he's still there.
No, Inoki doesn't run it. He hasn't for a few years. But
okay.
It was a different style back then. So now it's opened the floodgates to a different style of wrestling for a lot of people, and the internet has definitely helped that. Now you can stream shows when before you used to have to trade tapes to try and get it. So it's changed hands now. Has for a couple of years, but it's definitely a great product.
It's amazing. And well, this is just going back to you right now, and then obviously with the Bullet Club, because I was there when you guys first TMDK in the Titanium Arena. But what was your biggest match of your career, if I could ask?
Look, I think the Tokyo Dome is going to be up there. Like, Wrestle Kingdom was a massive moment for me. Look, there's so many. Like, sometimes I look at my local shows and I think about how lucky I am to be in front of big crowds there. There was me versus Slex, me versus Robbie Eagles, the matches I've had in Japan. I was lucky enough to wrestle in Ireland at their biggest show, which was massive as well. So I've been really lucky. I don't think I can bring it down to one match, but if you're going to talk about one, what was the most, I guess, the biggest, in front of the biggest crowd was definitely the Tokyo Dome at Wrestle Kingdom 12.
Of course. Yeah, because be honest with me, because I heard a rumor along when you were going to that ring that was before you bled everywhere in your hotel room. Is that true?
No, well, not everywhere. No, so the story goes, I was with my girlfriend at the time, and she was, her and I still talk about this all the time. We were in the hotel room, and I was okay, and she goes, "Geez, you look fine." Like, I'm surprised. I'm like, "Yeah, me too." And then, like, I sort of dry reached, almost puked, and I was like, "I don't feel too well." And then my nose just started bleeding randomly. So there was obviously a lot of built-up stress and anxiety about what was about to happen, because it was a major moment, and I also knew I was probably carrying the flag for Australia as well. And that's a lot to take on. Like, it's a lot to think. There's pressure to perform. There's pressure to be, what they expect you to be. So I cracked a little bit just before the show.
But you knew it was all worth it in the end, though. Wrestling in front of a huge crowd of New Japan.
The whole thing was worth it. The whole relationship with New Japan has now led to, my full-time career, which is, pretty unbelievable for me. I never expected to be behind the microphone. They obviously heard or saw something in me that they wanted to try out, and now I get to call some of the biggest and best matches for them. That's
amazing. And, now the Bullet Club has taken all over the world right now as we speak, but the Bullet Club block party coming down from down under itself, it's been growing. How do you think it's going to be like in the future for the next 10 to 20 years now, the Bullet Club? I just think it's just one of those things that will never die. It doesn't matter who's considered the leader. It doesn't matter what's going on. It's always going to be a major player in professional wrestling. Like, we had NWO back in the day, and they lasted a fairly long time, but I don't think they had the reach that the Bullet Club does. Like, I see T-shirts, Bullet Club T-shirts, they're cool. Like, people wear them out and about. You're wearing it now. Like, that wasn't a big NWO thing. People, like, wore and like, oh, what's that? Now you can buy an NWO T-shirt at Target, which is really weird. But the point is that I think Bullet Club's still cool, and I think it will be cool for a very long time. That's amazing. You told Tox and the rest of the boys they need a new member from down under. You call me. I'm ready to go. I'll
tell him. I'll say, call him straight away. He's ready to go. He's got the T-shirt.
I got more than a T-shirt, mate. Don't you worry about that. But we need to get
If you've got a tracksuit, If you got a tracksuit, I'll be upset.
Yeah, fortunately. Alrighty, mate. Well, guys, thank you so much for Gino Gambino taking this time to be on here. Thank you once again, my friend. Hopefully the Bullet Club in your career go further on in life, and we hope to see you very soon.
Thank you so much for having me, mate. I appreciate it.
No worries. Guys, until next time, this is Briz Productions, and we are out.
If you'd like to check more videos here on Briz Productions, why not check some of the videos that are currently right here, right now? Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the videos with any of your mates in particular. I'm Briz, and see you next time.